Jeremiah Brooks, a tall, weathered rancher in his late 40s, rose before dawn every morning to tend to his horses and cattle. His ranch, left to him by his grandfather, was more than land, it was heritage. One morning, he heard the growl of machines outside. To his shock, construction workers were planting steel posts and stretching wire along his property. He stormed out. "What in God's name are you doing on my land?" Jeremiah demanded. A man in a suit stepped forward, smug and self-assured. "Homeowners Association orders. We're fencing this entire area for uniformity. You'll thank us later." Jeremiah's jaw tightened. "This is my ranch. You don't put a fence on it without my permission." The man smirked. "Rules are rules. You'll get a gate, but only if you pay for membership." For the first time in years, Jeremiah felt like a prisoner on his own soil. Within a week, the fence was complete, and a single gate stood at the entrance. Jeremiah tried to pass through, but the padlock snapped shut. The HOA president handed him a paper. "Pay the dues, sign the contract, and we'll give you the key," he said coldly. Jeremiah refused. Days turned into weeks. Feed deliveries for his cattle couldn't get in, friends couldn't visit, and even emergency vehicles were delayed. Some neighbors whispered apologies, but most sided with the HOA, believing Jeremiah would eventually cave in. But he didn't. Instead, every night, after work on the ranch, Jeremiah studied county maps, property deeds, and tax records. He knew there had to be a loophole. His grandfather had always said, "If a man tries to box you in, find the door they forgot to lock." One day, Jeremiah struck gold. Buried in county files, he discovered the land the HOA built there, precious. Gate on wasn't actually theirs. It was a narrow strip of land considered unclaimed because of unpaid taxes, and it was about to be auctioned on the day of the sale. The HOA didn't bother showing up. Why would they? They thought they already owned everything. But Jeremiah quietly walked into the courthouse, raised his hand when the lot came up, and placed a simple bid. Minutes later, the auctioneer's gavel slammed down. Sold. Jeremiah walked out with the deed to the strip of land and the gate that blocked his ranch. Not the next morning. HOA members tried to drive in. They stopped short at the gate. The lock had been changed overnight. Jeremiah stood tall beside it, his weathered hands resting on the new key hanging from his belt. The HOA president rolled down his window, face red with anger. "You can't do this," he shouted. Jeremiah leaned forward with a calm smile. "Actually, I can. I own this gate now. Rules are rules." The tables had turned. To reach their own homes, the HOA now had to ask him for access. Some neighbors swallowed their pride and apologized. Others sold their houses and left, but Jeremiah stayed, stronger than ever. His grandfather's land was free again, and the message was clear. You can't fence in a man who owns the key. If you enjoyed this powerful story, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Subscribe now to Z Boss for more inspiring and dramatic stories.